Governor Christie says the state Senate has an obligation to vote up or down on his nominee to the state Supreme Court, Morris County Attorney Anne Patterson. Christie's announcement Monday that he would not reappoint Associate Justice John Wallace angered Senate Democrats who insist they won't hold hearings on anyone else. Meantime, former state Supreme Court Chief Justice Deborah Porras told NJN News today she's very disappointed by the governor's decision to remove Wallace. Senior political correspondent Michael Aaron reports.
I have no doubt that the Senate understands that the Constitution is very clear on this issue. The governor appoints people to the Supreme Court. The Senate has the obligation for advice and consent, not the option, the obligation.
Governor Christie said today he is sure that Anne Patterson will be judged up or down by the Senate on her merits. He said his decision to remove Associate Justice Wallace is final, that it's because Wallace's views are inconsistent with his own, and that it's his right to make that call.
This is something that is vested in the Constitution, in the governorship. It is not a joint decision as to who is nominated. It is the decision of the governor. The Senate now has their opportunity to perform their advice and consent function.
Senate President Steve Sweeney said yesterday he will not hold a confirmation hearing for any nominee Christie may put forward other than Wallace, who has 22 months before reaching the mandatory retirement age. Former Chief Justice Deborah Porras, in a telephone interview from France, says she's troubled by the governor's use of the lifetime tenure process to change the court's direction.
We have always valued an independent judiciary. We have always valued the fact that our judges in New Jersey have functioned at the highest level, are known throughout the country, and that comes from being able to do the work of a judge without looking over your shoulder, to be worried about whether your political viewpoint is somehow going to be read into an opinion, and that will prevent you from attaining tenure. It's a very frightening prospect to believe that judges will be affected by this kind of decision.
Porras says the tenure process was meant as an opportunity to weed out unfit judges, not change the direction of the court.
By doing this through the tenure process, I think the governor sends a different signal. The signal is, be careful how you carry out your task of judging, because that may affect whether you get tenure or not. And that affects the independence of the judiciary.
She's wrong. If she would read the minutes of the Constitutional Convention, as I have, there is a separate function for weeding out unfit or judges who conduct themselves in a way that's inappropriate. It's called the impeachment removal process. And so she's just wrong. And it's not the first time she's been wrong, and I'm certain it won't be the last.
While some see a standoff over what the Constitution really says about the Senate's obligation to consider the governor's nominee, Christie is seeing it as a knot that can get untied.
We'll work it out. Michael, this is like all the other things that happen when there is disagreement in government. You guys get hysterical.
So the governor isn't budging on this Supreme Court standoff. He says the Senate has an obligation to the public to consider his nominee, Anne Patterson, that his decision about John Wallace has been made, and that it's time for everyone to move on.
At the end of the day, at the end, people want to know, have you nominated someone who's competent and qualified to fill the position? I have.
Michael Aaron, NJN News, Upper Montclair.